Alright, let's get started. There are 14 people, 7 females and 7 males. So we'll put their names here, the 7 females and the 7 males. Now here, the group includes 6 young children, 3 married couples, a man and a woman, a man and a woman, a man and a woman, a widowed grandfather of 3 and a widowed grandmother of 4. So we put down the 3 generations, the 2 widowed grandparents, male and female, the 3 married couples, and the 6 kids. We actually know more than that because it says a widowed grandfather of 3 and a widowed grandmother of 4, which means that this grandfather is responsible for 3 of these kids somehow, through some relation of grandfatherliness. And this grandmother is not responsible for 3 but for 4, so there's an overlap of one kid whose grandfather is this guy and whose grandmother is this lady. So that gets us to there. Now, each married couple has the same number of letters in their first names. Each married couple consists of one person with an even number of syllables in their name and a partner with an odd number of syllables in their name. And one boy has parents whose names begin with vowels. Well, there are only 3 vowels in this group: Anne, Edna, and Ira. Only Anne and Ira have an odd number of syllables and an even number of syllables and the same number of letters. So that means Anne is married to Ira, and that's one of the couples in generation 2. Now, what about the couples with the vowels in the middle of their names? One boy, another boy has parents whose names have vowels in the center. Well, there's only one man with a vowel in the center of his name, and that's Louis. So Louis is a second generation person. And who's Louis's wife? Well, there are 2 women, Diana and Fiona, who have vowels in the center of their names. And they both have the same number of letters as Louis, and they both have, Louis has 2 syllables, and they both have 3 syllables, so either one of them would work. But Louis and Fiona are not related by blood or by marriage. So Louis can't be married to Fiona, which means Louis must be married to Diana. Going back to our chart, we know that there is an only child. One day a mother and father took their only child. We know that one grandchild has 5 first cousins. The only way to have 5 first cousins here would be to be related to both the reds and the blues. In other words, to be this purple guy. We now realize is a boy. Their only child to pick up furniture for his bedroom. Okay, so it's a boy. 2 of the men have the same mother-in-law. 2 of the women have the same father-in-law. If 2 of the men have the same mother-in-law, right? In other words, the mother-in-law is the female, who is the mother-in-law of this man and this man, let's say. So she has to have 2 daughters, one of whom married this guy, the other one married this guy, giving 2 of the men the same mother-in-law. And the same thing here. If 2 of the women have the same father-in-law, then this father, this male, has 2 male sons, and this person, this only child who has a puppy, and the puppy is made up of 4 initials, has to be the 4 initials of his child's parents and surviving parents, the initial of this person, the initial of this person, and surviving grandparents, which would be this person and this person, which means that this child is the child of this marriage right here. One boy has parents whose names begin with vowels. Another boy has parents with vowels in the center, and another boy has parents whose names end with vowels. That means that of these 3 different married couples, everyone has at least one boy, right? This guy has to be a boy. Let's say this is a boy. You knew that already. And there's at least one boy here as well. Now if you count the little m's, you'll find we have 7 males. 1 grandfather, 3 fathers, and 3 sons. That makes 7. And that's all the boys' names we have, which means everybody else has to be female. The remaining grandchildren are female. Now, the names of a father and his two sons have two letters in common, as do the first names of a mother and her two daughters. Now, that mother and her two daughters, that could be this woman up here and her two daughters, or it could be this family right here and their two daughters. But the father and his two sons, there is no father with two sons except this guy. So this grandfather here, his two sons, are going to have two letters in common in their names. We know that one of the sons could be Ira and one of the sons could be Louis. But looking at this list here, it's hard to find anybody with two letters in common with Louis. So that means that Louis kind of has to be here. He's a second generation. He can't be this person or this person, so that makes him this person. Right to Diana. So now that Louis and Diana are placed, we know that there is a couple, Anne and Ira. So either this boy is Ira, or this man is Ira. One or the other. Either way, Ira has to have two letters in common with his brother and his father. And we know Ira isn't up here, and Ira isn't down there because he's in the middle, so he's married to Anne, so he has to either Ira and Anne have to be here, or Ira and Anne have to be there. This has to be Ira, or this has to be Ira. And two letters in common. Well, Ira has two letters in common with Harry, and with Carl, and with Marco. But since this is the couple with vowels in the middle of their names, and Anne and Ira have vowels at the beginning, the only one with a vowel at the end is Marco. Nate does not have two letters in common with Ira, so he won't work. It has to be Marco. And who's Marco married to? A person with an odd number of syllables in their name and a vowel at the end. It has to be Fiona. That means that Carl is left over, and he has to be the grandpa. There's only one position for a girl who was named after Carl. Carla was named after Carl, so Carla is Carl's granddaughter down here. These two couples, Anne and Ira, and Fiona and Marco, go in the center here. This girl has to have two letters in common with Diana, so she could be Fiona or she could be Anne. But in any case, Grandma has to be Edna. Only Edna has two letters in common with both Diana and Anne or Fiona, the N and the A. So Edna is the grandmother. Betty and Ginger are the two granddaughters who are left in play. Now, we do have to look at one other thing. The puppy. The puppy was named for the place where he was found, which happens to be made of the first initials of the child's parents and surviving grandparents. That's a K and an E. Now, if you add an F and an M to that, if these are the parents of this child, the puppy finder, if these are his parents, you add F and M to K and E, and you don't come up with a very good name for a puppy. FMKE doesn't really make it. So what if you put F and M here? At least you get some vowels that way, right? Anne and Ira. Fiona and Marco can't have a kid named Harry. Louis and Diana can't have a kid named Harry. So this kid's name is Harry. The other two boys are named Jack and Nate. There's no real reason why one should be in one family and the other in the other. We're not asked for that information. One day, a mother and father took their only child, Harry, to the store to pick up furniture for his bedroom. They found an abandoned puppy in the parking lot and adopted him. They named him for the place where he was found, which also happens to be made up of the first initials of the child's parents and surviving grandparents, K, I, A, and E. Furniture for the bedroom. The puppy's name is pretty clear, and you have solved the puzzle.